It's like, even when you doing nothing or you figuring out what you gonna do, that's doc worthy or vlog worthy because somebody else is in that phase. Some, like, we just sit in here and have conversations sometimes, and that's literally the content. Like, y'all see the daily strolls, that's my morning walk. That's what I do, camera on or camera off. We have those same conversations. So it's like all of those, every moment of life is worthy of that. Like, bruh, we know the Kardashians solely because they documented their life. Not because they did anything significant, but because the world got to see their life documented. The same when T.I. did that. It works for anybody. Anybody today can start documenting their life. And they're like, I'm a person and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do in life. And by that 5th year, they're going to have a completely different audience who are just like, wow, we watched it. You know, like, it works for anybody. Everything doesn't have to be a highlight reel. We live at the shop, baby.
Today I'm with everybody's favorite Bay Area croc wearing. Dang, I knew I was gonna mess this intro.
The quack wearing.
The quack wearing. Today I'm sitting down with everybody's favorite Bay Area croc wearing rapper. The one who goes against the grain with kind of everything that he does. And you're really like changing the game. Like, it's really different. So I'm sitting here with LaRussell, man.
Used to run the city in a GT coupe. Got repossessed, I was hurting. I quit my job, I was working. Invested in myself, I was certain.
A lot of us, like African Americans, really don't, I guess, see somebody that's like doing exactly what we want to do usually. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And then if we don't, we usually become that kind of for the next generation. Do you feel like you saw anybody that's like doing, I guess, what you wanted to do now, like back in the day?
Not necessarily. I guess in different variations, right? I seen niggas make it in rap, and I wanted to make it rap. I seen Nipsey do innovative things. I seen Steve Jobs building Apple and give us products. I seen Kanye West go into different lanes, and so I've seen it in various forms, but I've never seen one person do all the things that I'm doing in my format, which I couldn't. You know, it was a lane card for me. I seen Pop put out fucking insane amount of product to where this man passed, and we still finding new songs. Like, we witnessed it in various forms, but you know, I'm like a melting pot of all of my favorites in one.
Like I think they call that like a mosaic. Like, people pick, like in life, like life is like a mosaic. Like, people pick different pieces from like all these other people that they're inspired by.
Take what you
and
need.
They create, exactly. You
right?
Take what you need, and it creates kind of this like super dope like vision of you. So in 2021, you had about 5,000 followers. In early 2022, you only had about 100,000. Last month, you just hit 1 million.
Yeah.
Like, was that always the goal? Like, was to hit 1 million, or like?
A goal, not the goal.
Yeah.
A goal. I always used to go in meetings and be like, man, if 1 million people see me, I know people gonna fuck with me. And I used to always ask them, like, how can I get in front of 1 million people? So that's always been a goal. You know, every year I usually make like a marathon list of things that I want to attain, and 1 million followers was on there because I knew how much work it would take for me to get that. You know, like, some people get 1 million followers off like a viral moment or like a fluke thing or through the infrastructure. But I knew for me to get it, it was going to take a lot, because it was brick by brick. It's like building a house with 1 million bricks, and I laid every single one myself by hand. Yeah,
it's definitely been the long game, and like kind of, I mean, as you see, but it seems like it's really taken off in like the last like year or two though.
Right, which is crazy because you think it's the long game until you plan the game, and it just go. Then 4 quarters go by fast. The game started, and then next thing you know, you going to double overtime, and it's like, damn, we've been playing that long. It's really not the long game, and that be the thing when you navigating this shit. And in the industry, you have to really shift perspective, because a lot of times when you indie, niggas will be like, oh, it's gonna take longer. Oh, it's gonna take long, and it's like, well, that's not true. Yeah. Sometimes we pass up niggas who are, you know, already in the system, and it didn't take longer, but that be the perspective that you have to shape, because we do be having an ideology that, man, it's going to take way longer to get there, but it doesn't, bro. I released my first project in 2018, and I just start really pushing motion. Like, I had my first moment virally public in 2021, you know, and it just turned 2024. That's 3 years, and niggas still be in high school.
Yeah. Dang. Nah, for real, that's crazy. Why do you think like you've been able to pass people that are, you know, signed or whatever?
I do it every day.
I said why though? Like why you think you've been able to? Like I guess
I do it every day.
What sets it apart?
Cause I do it every day.
Yeah, I feel you. That 10,000 shots.
The nigga, if you start 2 people off they freshman year, the nigga who goes to the gym every day 3 times a day, by their senior year is going to be a big difference than the nigga who barely worked out or worked out every other day. It's just not going to be the same. And I've just had a insane work ethic with this. I mean, y'all see how many videos, like we just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and it was what, like 1,700 videos. It took me 1,700 videos to get there.
Well, and you was just at like, I swear when I first started watching the Daily Strolls, I swear y'all was at like 59,000 followers. I was like, how this nigga pass 100,000 in like 2 weeks? Like
beating that shit down.
No, literally, like. So with that being said, you posted over 3,600 like posts on Instagram since 2017, and you've released 31 albums, right? 31, 30, is that the right number? 30. So is the secret, I guess, quantity or quality?
Both. If I came and took a shit on your lawn 1,000 times, you would be upset. You know, the quantity doesn't have as much relevance as, like, it's gotta be good. Like, people gotta fuck with it. People gotta be able to enjoy it. It takes both. Like, I'm not a quantity over quantity guy. I'm a both. Yeah. If I can't give you both, then I'm just not gonna give it. Cause
you could put out a bunch of stuff, and if it ain't good,
and it
ain't
won't
nobody
hit.
Gonna tune in.
And it won't hit, but you'll still see growth with just quantity. You'll still see growth. I believe anybody in this world could do something 10,000 times, and they're going to be way bigger when they end than when they started. But if you mix quality in with that too, it just gives you a different boost that you can't obtain through just quantity.
That's a bar. No, definitely. Plus, like you said, if you take in 10,000 shots, like, you're going to be better than if you only took 100. So, like, the more you create something or the more you post it, like, you literally are bound to get better.
Bro, when we start shooting Vincent Splash first came in, like, it's just, you could see the growth in the visualizers and the videos and the whole team and the styling. Like, we get better every time we go do something, which is why we do things in bulk, because we start getting excited off the result.
Yeah. So with this like kind of insane output that you guys are able to do, how do you guys avoid like burnout?
We do what we love to do.
Yeah.
I think that's as simple. Like, I don't think you avoid burnout. I think anyone who thinks they could run a marathon and not get tired at any point is insane. Yeah. Like, you're going to be tired and you're going to need to rest, and then you're going to get back and start running again. You feel me? Like, it's not something to avoid. It's something to embrace. You're going to be tired. You just worked your ass off. That's going to happen.
Yeah. And like, I mean, the way y'all be working and the way y'all put out content, it look like y'all don't rest. But you just told us you had a rest day yesterday. So like, LaRussell do rest y'all. Yeah. But if you catch up and get ahead, then you can rest. Like,
hilarious, right?
Man. Did you ever have a slump where you like weren't able to kind of put out content like you have been now? Like maybe a creative slump, or like you was just down, like?
Yeah, I have emotional slumps. That affects my output, and I gotta figure that out, because you can't, I don't know, but even then, like, I'm able to create in every space. When I'm in a down space or an up space, I'm able to create something. I've gotten some of my best albums and projects because I was in a down slump, you feel me? So I say it's things to embrace. During those slumps, I may not make 100 things, but I might make 10, and that's okay.
No, that's tight. That's a bar too, though, because it's like, if you can, I guess, embrace those moments and turn that into the content, that's like somebody that'd be like, dang, I don't really got no content today. Make the content about having no content. Like, you know, or like,
bruh, I got everybody a fucking Osmo Pocket 3. And that's what my motion was. It's like, even when you doing nothing or you figuring out what you gonna do, that's doc worthy or vlog worthy, because somebody else is in that phase. Some, like, we just sit in here and have conversations sometimes, and that be That's literally the content. Like, y'all see the daily strolls. That's my morning walk. That's what I do, camera on or camera off. We have those same conversations. So it's like all of those, every moment of life is worthy of that. Like, bruh, we know the Kardashians solely because they documented their life. Not because they did anything significant, but because the world got to see their life documented. The same when T.I. did that. It works for anybody. Anybody today can start documenting their life. And they're like, I'm a person and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do in life. And by that 5th year, they're going to have a completely different audience who are just like, wow, we watched it. You know, like, it works for anybody. Everything doesn't have to be a highlight reel.
I feel like too, probably the more you start to document, the more you'll see, like, I don't know, yourself like trying to reach more things just because you documenting it too. Just like, dang, I gotta do this. People watching, like,
once you start digging a hole, you start to figure out all the things you could put inside and around it. You feel me? Like, you start adding swimming pools and you put trees around it, and it all started from that initial digging when you don't even know what's gonna go in there, but you just start. Everything else will come to you.
For sure. I feel like one thing I noticed in my research, and like watching different interviews and just other stuff, I feel like, and maybe, I guess, correct me if you feel like I'm wrong, but I feel like the average person maybe doesn't quite understand like the magnitude to like everything that you're building, like the impact of it. Like, when I sat down and I wrote, like, I guess the list of like everything I thought that you was doing that was like super different, I'm like, I don't think people understand like kind of, I guess, the magnitude of it. Like, so if you could, like, when I say each of these topics, can you explain like a little bit more of like what y'all are doing with it? So like, you building like a huge like compound, right? Like, so is that like, your team like live there too? Like, what's the compound? Like, I know it's gonna have a venue in it, like, but I don't think people understand like how different
as
that
part
is.
As part of this interview before we go.
All right, bet, B-roll.
But the compound is just like a creative home, and yeah, my niggas who help me on the day-to-day live here, and we got the live venue and a content room and an outdoor rec area and merchandise shop and
pickleball court, right?
Pickleball court, hoop court.
Crazy.
You know, we got the bikes down there, and it's just, yeah, man, it's a cultivation compound. It's just somewhere that I feel like is going to be hyper beneficial to creatives that we find that we love. I've been able to liberate, you know, my niggas in a way to where they could just focus on what we're building and they have the infrastructure around them to do something great. It's almost like if you live here and you're not doing nothing great, it's because you don't want it. There's no other reason, versus like when you just out in the world, there's so many factors that come into play. But when you get here, it's like, bruh, you just don't want it. And that's something you got to do and sit with yourself about.
It's crazy because the concept isn't necessarily new, because like Facebook does that, like YouTube, like all the Google, like they all have places like that. But the average person probably don't feel like they could build something like that. But like, you making it feel like you could. Like, the
average person can't, and that's why they don't.
You're right. You got to be in a certain mindset, a certain like elevation.
Right. It's a lot of things you got to do before you get to that point. If anyone could build Apple, everyone would have built Apple.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people just can only eat apples, and that's okay.
That's a bar. So you credit producers on your songs like as an artist?
Because they're an artist.
Yo, I think that's dope. Like, that's dope though. Like, everybody should start doing that. Like,
yeah, I think so too. And I've seen the trend start to grow. Like, I see a lot of other people do it, and it's beautiful. And I think we're going to get to a time in life where it's like, yeah, that's the wave. That's what happens. Everyone gets some royalties and some splits, and everyone gets credited for their function and their contribution.
So you started like a Proud to Pay movement.
Nip started the Proud to Pay movement,
that's true.
but I've cultivated the Proud to Pay movement.
But you started it, I guess, within
a different
your
variation,
own city, like,
right. So I established offer base off of the Proud to Pay system, to where, you know, Proud to Pay is like, I can come give you $1. Offer base is I can offer you $1, but you get to determine whether or not that appeals to you. So like, we do offer based shows and offer based merchandise, and all of my services like interviews and shit like that, I allow people to do offer based, so I could really tap in. Like everyone has a chance to connect with me. Everyone may not, but everyone kind of has an opportunity to based on that.
That's dope. You built a stage in your backyard and you host events there.
Yep, the pergola. Come on, live from the pergola, line to the front yard.
Is that too? Because I'm sure you probably live here at the compound now too. Is that your parents' house? Like,
yep.
See, so he built this in
that's
his
my
parents'
childhood
house.
home.
Like, yo, that's gotta hit different with it being your childhood.
It does,
home too.
man. Every time I walk back there, like especially on the days when there's nothing happening, and I used to just walk back there and sit and just seeing. Man, that backyard used to be... we got videos of YouTube from me doing a release party prior to all those renovations, and it's just a completely different space, and it's really dope to get to that point in life. Like, I never imagined that shit in my journey, but that's a result of, like, digging. I never imagined that shit until I started digging, and it was like, oh, this needs to happen, you feel me? That's just from going.
For sure. Man. So you refuse to sign away kind of your heart or your art. Why is it important for you, like, to not sign a deal?
It's not important to not sign a deal. It's important to not sign a bad deal.
Yeah.
I do deals. I love deals. Deals are great. Everyone loves deals. But I don't like bad deals or deals that just doesn't align with my ethics or deals that have people behind them that don't truly believe in what I'm building or understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't ever want to be hindered by a contract.
Yeah.
And someone to be able to tell me what I can and can't do with the business that I spent all of my earnings in life building. Like, that shit just, it's unsensible.
Yeah. Okay, so continuing that list, you've never charged an artist to work with you.
Yeah. Probably since we started the offer based shit, maybe, but it's still not even me charging. It's like, bro, you get to determine that price and I'll accept it or not.
It's a tip at that point.
But yeah, any artist that you've seen on Good Company and through the platform, even when I was doing the live sessions and helping hella artists, it was always donation based, and a lot of niggas didn't even donate. You feel me? Like, I've never. It's just, if I fuck with you, I'm gonna help you.
So the stocks, what's up with the stocks?
Yeah, man, the stock is great. We've allowed people to buy equity in songs that they love. And that's another thing that's offer based. You can make an offer on a percentage you want, and they get paid a percentage of the royalties that come from streaming, and it's perpetual. And that shit to me is like the most innovative shit that's happened in music in a long time, because we've all grown up hearing an artist first and not being able to monetize on having that ear or supporting them early beyond just buying they shit. But now I've made it the opposite way, where it's like people get to, man, for the rest of their lives, niggas gonna be making money off Baggage Claim and off Cisco and off Chanel, off whatever song. My niggas, for the rest of their lives, they getting paid off of these songs. Yeah. So to me, there hasn't been anything as innovative as that in music. Yeah.
Plus, like, I mean, if you can own, like, stake in brands you love, like Nike or Google, like, why not own a piece of your favorite song?
When LaMelo Ball was coming out of high school, it was very clear he was gonna be what he was, Ja Morant. Yeah. And it's like, if we were able to buy stock in that, like, bro, I know he's gonna be a champion. Crazy. I'm willing to invest something to make sure he becomes that. Bruh, that's a fucking W.
Yeah, nah, definitely. So the stock, is that different than, I guess, them, like, if they were, I think some of your albums, like, when you purchase it through, like, the offer base, then people get, like, just different royalties through that too? Is that different, or it's all the same? That's all the same thing.
Okay, so sometimes I give away royalties, and then there's certain songs where it's like, you can come to me if you're like, I specifically want royalties in this song, and sometimes you can just buy an album and I'll give you a royalty in it. Yeah.
No, definitely. And then another thing, you've given, like, a lot of artists kind of a platform, the tools, and, like, the motivation. Like Michael Prince, who when you first met him, he only had 999 followers. Yeah. Shout out to Splash. He told me that fact. And now he's at like 325K. Why is this type of like work highlighting artists like so?
Man, important? That ain't nothing but the devil's work. What's 999 flipped upside down? I'm telling you.
They gonna say this Illuminati now. Come on, man.
I mean, bruh, Michael Prince is a nigga who really took the blueprint and ran. Really. He came and he got the sauce and the information, and it was something like, all I did was pour water on the seed. You know, it was a drought, and all I did was pour water, put a little plantful, pour some more water. Hey, you know, he's somebody who really, he's hyper analytical. He watches and he hears and he learns and he executes, and you can see the result. He has done nothing but what he's seen me do, and copy, edit, paste.
Yeah.
You know, some people just copy and paste and they wonder why they don't get the same results. It's like, bro, because we seen it's the same thing, but copy, edit, paste, add your own, and then put that shit up. And it's been so dope, bro. Like, I admire what he's doing. That nigga's from Houston and got to play violin at a Houston Rockets game. Like, you can't beat from 999 followers in my pergola. Like, ain't nobody ever seen no shit like that. And he's a branch off of the Good Company tree. Like, there was no one tapping in and looking.
Yeah.
We really amplified that shit like crazy. Our first time linking, we caught a viral moment, and I had all the cameras rolling and the board rolling, and it was just an introduction that has to take somebody from 1,000 to 325. He's gonna be at 1 million one day, and he's gonna be like, everyone knows him as the black violinist. Nigga, we played at a fucking soccer game. You feel me? Like, that shit doesn't happen nowhere else. That's the type of impact that a nigga is having.
Yeah. That's why I was like, man, I don't think people realize, like, these, they're not really small moments, but like these little details, like, you really like setting that shit up. Like,
they won't and they can't. And that's something that I've grasped and I've been okay with, because it's like, you using an iPad, but you have no idea what all goes into you being able to use that iPad. And that's how it is for the general public. They just get the kind of benefit and use it, and that worked.
No, definitely. So you talk a lot about putting on for your hometown, Vallejo, and doing all these things kind of from your bedroom. Why was it important, or why do you feel like you felt the need to stay home?
I didn't initially feel the need. I was just broke. And it's like, I'm home. There's no other option. And when you start building that and you start realizing, I have everything that I need here, and if I don't have it, I could build it. It just, you know, there's no reason for you to not be.
How do you think growing up in a smaller town like Vallejo rather than like San Francisco or Oakland or something kind of shaped you?
It shapes your hustle differently, because like the opportunity is limited. Like, when you from Vallejo, if you want a career or even a decent job, you usually have to commute to Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco, Napa, somewhere else. You feel me? Like, that's how limited the opportunity and the resource is here. So it just shapes the hustle different. If I wanted to make it and be from Vallejo, I had to do everything that niggas in big cities have to do times 10. And I had to build the infrastructure versus just being able to walk down the street and there's a label office that you can sit in front of and pass CDs and somebody might run it. Ain't nobody gonna run into me and find me out here and be like, nigga, I'm assigned. That don't happen out here. You feel me? So the work that you got to do is just different.
No, definitely. It's kind of like and then like you just said, you got to build it too. So it's like if you're not going to be invited to the table because you way out here in this little small city versus like, you know, so you really got to build your own table.
Man. Which is necessary. It's like, nigga, otherwise you're going to be eating on the floor. You come to another nigga table, that table might not always be there, and you're going to be eating on the floor. And that's cool every now and then, but eventually you're going to want your own table.
Yeah. No, that's really like how we got to get it in the Midwest for real. Like, we literally...
Can I ask that question?
Please.
Why do you feel like, what if I'm from LA? Do you feel like it's still necessary for me to build my own table or New York?
Yeah. I think it's still necessary to build your own table, but you also... you could see it around you and you're immersed within it. So it's like building your own table is a bit easier. You feel me? Like, I think it's still, no matter where you at, that necessity is there. But it's easier to dream of making it when Hollywood is down the street.
Yeah.
It's easier to dream of making it when you can see the Sony building because you walk past it every day, and the Def Jam office, and Hove over here, and it's easy. That dream just looks a little different, right? Like, your thought of bringing it to fruition is much larger because it's like, nigga, it's right there. I know, nigga. My nigga just was over there. If you from Vallejo, you ain't walking past shit. Ain't no Def Jam, ain't no sign, ain't no Hollywood sign, ain't no. You barely see a nigga who made it. You feel me? So it's just your experience is different because you might not ever witness it, but you still gotta have that energy in you. Like, I'm gonna do it though. You feel me? Even though you don't see nobody else around you doing it and you don't see no outlets, you still gotta be like, but I'm gonna do it. You know?
I feel like too we see that a lot like in the Midwest because there's literally like. Y'all like out here, y'all got different stuff that like we don't have. Like even like in the clothing industry, like people got access to like models and designers and just like y'all probably got access to so many more like beat makers and producers and stuff like that. Like just in Cali and stuff in general.
Yeah, and we got
like,
mountains.
Yeah. Man, but like just in general, like we just don't have access to stuff. So like more people become like jack of all trades, like in a smaller city or like in the Midwest, because it's like you ain't got nobody to do it for you. Like you literally do it yourself.
When I started, I've done everything in every role. When I started the live sessions, I used to do live sessions with a lot of artists who was like on more than I was. And I was filming. I was a video guy. I never pushed. I never was like, listen to my song. Let me get a verse. Ever. Like, nigga, if you didn't know I rap, you just didn't know I rap. Because I was on video. And then I go home and I had to be the editor. And then I go and I had to engineer and I had to master. Like, you have to be everything. But that cultivates you in a different way to where when you get to the point where you can have those access points, you appreciate it differently and you can give input. It's hard to tell a nigga what kind of shot you want and you ain't never shot nothing.
Yeah, I definitely feel like too we probably see a lot more like one hit wonders or like people that get there and then kind of, I don't want to say lose it all, but like kind of flop because they don't have that drive because it was a little bit easier for them because they was in a bigger city or like they had access to more resources.
Yeah, I mean, and that's generally the case. Like, it's hard to. That's generally the case. It's seldom you see something like go extremely viral and have this crazy moment. It's seldom you see it 2 or 3 years later. Very, very seldom. And that's because it was built so fast. It was built so fast it couldn't endure life. Like, nigga, one tornado coming, that motherfucker gone. One flood coming, that motherfucker gone. You feel me? So it's very important. You gotta take that time to build this shit.
Definitely. So your first, I guess you said your first project was released in 2018 too, but also your first performance too. So like your first live performance.
My first show.
Yeah. How many people were at that first show?
It felt like 500, but probably like 75. Probably like 75 or 80. I would say 100 on the 100 is me like stretching.
Yeah.
I was delusional then. So you know, but to me it felt like that whole thing was yanking. But it's funny, I remember looking up and they turned the lights on for a moment and the whole back half of it was empty.
But people was probably hyping. It was probably loud like it was full.
Yeah, it was turned on. It was yanking in that hole. But yeah, it was probably like 75, 80. It was a great time though.
Yeah, nah, and that's, I mean, for your first performance at all.
Nigga,
but you was creating for a while before that, right?
Yeah, I've been doing.
Which is probably why you had the motion to get 100, because most people first show probably
it was
be
friends
like 5.
and family.
Oh, okay.
It was friends and family. I've been a great nigga to a lot of people, so you know it was like. It wasn't too many fans. It was a lot of friends and family who were fans.
Those your
fans,
first fans is your fam.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, nah, definitely. So how many like live shows do you think you've done like since then?
Nigga, you'll need everybody fingers and toes that you know.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I guess once you did that first live performance, it put like a different fire up under you?
Yeah, I was charged up because I had to go back to work the next day. I was charged up. I was charged up, and I knew it made me. It sparked me, and it was like, nah, this is what you want. I had to go back to work, and I had to work a whole nother year and a half before I got out of there, and I kept doing shows. I just kept building. I was like, it gave me direction.
Man, that's a bar. I gotta go back to work about it after this interview next week. Like, man, nah,
I've had so many life-changing moments and had to go back to work after.
Dang.
And that's kind of been like the humbling factor for me, which is why now I'm able to navigate life in a certain capacity because I've always had to go through it and get back to it.
Nah, for sure. So the separation between artists and fans, you sort of break that barrier with everything that you do. Do you feel like more artists should be more reachable?
It's up to them. I think that I open my doors much wider than necessary for most artists, but I'm also like, it's just fitting for my life. Like, you coming here and sitting on my couch and having to fly to California fits me better than me having to do everything else. You feel me? So for me, it just aligns with the life that I want to live. I want to walk and ride my bike around the city I'm from. So it just makes sense to cultivate the kind of base to where I could do that, and it's respectable, and we have that type of situation. And man, I really value people who support me. Like, bruh, niggas still buy my music in a period where niggas be like, oh, records is down, shit don't sell. For who?
Yeah.
Like, niggas still buy my music. Like, that's a big thing to me. I don't take shit like that for granted, because no one has to give you that support or that love, but they do. And I try to get that shit back. Like, it's just important to, it's a human exchange.
Speaking of like still buying music, I think I watched something from like way earlier when I was doing my research, and like you talked about how like it was 50 people that bought some package like back in the day, and they gonna get a ticket to the biggest show ever in some years. When is that show? Like, and is it only limited to that 50 people, or is everybody gonna be in there?
2026 is not limited to them.
That's what I thought.
But they get in free and they get front row seats, man. If you got a gold card, when we start doing them arena shows, you living different, because nigga can come backstage. Nigga, what's that? It's just it's a whole different system that you get to be a part of, because you supported and you adopted something early, and I'm gonna make sure to honor that. Like, we really got a plan, and when them arena shows come, them the niggas who really like get to be like, bro, we knew this was happening and we in here.
Them the niggas that got early on the stock. They bought Amazon in 1997. They got
early on the stock and they finna hit. They finna hit. It's like, bro, we ain't even got rolling. Some of these artists do 400, 500, 600 million streams a year. It's like, we ain't even got rolling. I'm just getting started.
Man, it's still people. I'd be so amazed that people be just figuring out who you are. I'm like, I don't know how. Then the way you ran ads in the beginning too, I'm like, I don't know how y'all ain't at least scroll past him like something. Like, there's no way. Like, you credit a lot of your success like kind of to your team. What do you feel like the secret is to kind of building like a great team?
Being a great human. And I think it's no secret. I think that's the only way you can. People want to work with and for great people. You can only find great people if you are a great person and you resonating at a certain frequency. You know, shit don't attract bees, it attract flies. Honey attract bees. You feel me? So like you don't really get to determine that. You just gotta be, you either honey or you shit, and you gonna attract based on whichever one you are.
That's fire. That's fire. So
that was one of them. Hey, that was one of them. Nephew, cut
that clip.
Viral. You got
one. So you've built like such a dope brand. I feel like a lot of times kind of the authenticity of like a personal brand gets lost when people get a team. How were you able to kind of keep that authenticity?
I'm very, very stern on what I want. Like, even now we work with Ariel and she's my stylist, and it took me a while, and bringing her in was like, I'm only doing this shit if I could be exactly how I want. And it's a lot of no's first before you build that trust to where I'm open and okay with somebody altering my vehicle, because I'm like, nah, nigga, if this bitch break down, I'm the one who gotta fix it. So I'm very stern on my vision and what I want, and I don't allow anyone to kind of deter me from that.
No, that makes sense. So like, what, she was like, you can't wear the Crocs in this one, and you was like, I'm wearing the Crocs. Like,
exactly. Exactly. Until it makes sense to where it's like, okay, I trust you in your vision, and we not. And we've gotten a lot of pieces and things that I generally wouldn't have worn, but I got to build that trust through her delivering things that I do like and that do fit me. You feel me? So it's just building that. You got to be really, really, I'm hard driven on what I'm going to accomplish and what that looks like for me.
No, definitely. So you caught the attention of like some really big names like Uncle Snoop, E40, Russ, J. Cole. Which has been the one that was like, all right, this shit is really different? Like, which was like the moment that you feel like really hit different? If you had to pick one.
All of them had
You gotta
the
pick
same
one.
significance. Okay, if I gotta pick one. I can't pick one. They're all of the
You
same
gotta pick one. All right, the J. Cole one had to be crazy because not like he told you, right? What's his name told you?
Kaz
so you really didn't know, like, and you was like, wait a minute, like, hold on. That wasn't like even more like, did you reach out to him after that?
I didn't.
Dang.
But I was wondering why he didn't reach out to me. So that one was kind of spoiled because it's like, nigga, why you ain't hit me?
Dang, yeah, no, that's true.
I would say Snoop. Just because, like, Snoop, when I was a young nigga, my mama used to play the Up and Smoke Tour DVD, and that was like my first introduction to like rap concerts. And I remember that whole shit. Snoop is just like a different level of star, and bitches was flashing their titties and everything. And I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want for my life. And Snoop is just like, he is the largest cultural icon in the world. There's not anyone who doesn't know Snoop. So for Snoop to know who you are, everyone knows who Snoop is, but Snoop don't know who everybody is. So for you to make it and Snoop is like, yeah, that's that nigga, and to be like, let's do a song, it's a different type of energy. And man, that's one. And then 40, like Water is from here, the same place I'm from, and he really put feet to the pavement, and he's one of the reasons you know what Vallejo is. You feel me? Like, it's just different. Those two, just the legacy is different. But I mean, everybody, like I say, has crazy significance. Meeting L.A. Reid was like a moment. It's like, bruh, you know who I am, and you want to sign me? Those are all pivotal moments.
The crazy part is there's probably other people out there too that know who you are and know the vibe, and they just ain't said nothing. Like, that's even crazier to think about.
That's what the Cole thing showed me again. It's like everyone knows who I am.
Yeah, no,
right? Everyone who's within this game and of a certain set, they know who I am. Whether they say it or not, they know. And that was like solidifying.
Well, even like when you hit me up, and it's crazy too because like, I mean, I figured you might see, like, the videos or whatever because I'm, like, tagging Splash. But I didn't think, like, you know, like, this nigga gonna say anything. And so, like, I'm, like, I don't know. I fell asleep on the couch and I just happened to wake up. And I, like, was like, I'm gonna check Instagram. And I checked it. I got my notifications off. So I don't see, like, you know, when messages come through unless I'm, like, in the app. And I just happened to open. It's, like, 1:24 in the morning where I'm at. And, like, I just happened to open the app. And then, like, across the top, it's, like,
boom.
LaRussell, you ready? And I was like, maybe he going live. You know, I tell you when people going live. I was like, ain't no way that's the message.
Automated message.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I click on it, and it was bubbles because you was like, I literally happened to open Instagram while you was writing me a message. So I'm like, oh no. So I like go back out. Like, I look thirsty as hell. I opened it as soon as he sent it. Like,
nigga said, let me wait 10 minutes. Let me give it 10 minutes.
Well, at that point, I had already opened the first one. So like, once you sent the second message, I came back. But like, I literally like, it was like destiny. Like, I woke up out my sleep and was like, let me check Instagram, and it literally came across like right when I was on there. I was
that's
like,
hard.
Yo, that's crazy. Like,
you can't beat it. I mean, that's the power of like what we built. Like, I trust my niggas' visions, and like Splash is one of those where it's like, if he invested in it, I think it's worthwhile, and that's how we rock. So it's dope that you feel me.
For sure.
I'm glad that
was out here. Then you thought I was out here. You was like, where you be shooting at? And I'm like, I don't even
Indiana.
live nowhere near. No, for real. Like, bro, I was like, but I'll make my way back out there though for sure. And
that's wild.
Man, this only my second time to Cali, like, period. Like, and I shot the episode with Splash like on my phone because I left my gear because I was like, I don't really got nothing going on when I'm there. I was there for work. Like, and I was like, I really want to get an interview in while I'm here. And he was down for it, and we made that work in like an hour or something. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, I gotta shoot it on my phone. I don't got nothing else. Like, hey, but we made it work.
You made it work, and you got
crazy.
pieces and clips from it that I got to see, and it's like, let's go.
No, definitely.
You can't beat it. Work,
man. All right, just a few more questions. How did becoming a young dad change you, kind of at that time?
in every way possible.
But like, I guess, how did it feel? Like, what internally, do you feel like it like kind of motivated you, or did it like keep you down? Like at the time, like how are you feeling?
It was a mix of everything. Motivation, demotivation too, because it's like a bomb going off. You feel me? Like when you finna have a child, it's like a bomb that's ticking, and you know, like something's finna happen that's going to change everything, and you have to figure out what you're going to do about it. And at 17, I didn't have the tools to defuse a bomb, so I was just kind of like, fuck, it's a bomb, fuck, it's a bomb, fuck, it's a bomb, instead of trying to cultivate myself to learn how to defuse one and what to do with a bomb. You feel me? So it taught me everything. Honestly, still till this day, it teaches me a ton of shit. Like I gotta learn every day how to improve.
Yeah, I feel like being a young parent, like really, I feel like molds people like differently. I'm a young mom too. Like I had my son when I was like 20, and so like literally, like you can let it like destroy your whole life, or you can like take it and really have that kid. And like they're like, when they come, it's like, dang, like these little eyes are like staring up at me, and they like, you know, like I gotta make the best life possible for this person. I feel like the people that really take that moment and like turn it into like, you know, like a greater thing, like life really works out for them. Like, and it's crazy.
Right.
It's hard to be kind of what you can't see. How did you become, I guess, this figure, kind of this phenomenon that's never really been done before?
TV and YouTube. Like I say, I got to see it in so many different forms. I started making beats because I seen a YouTube video of Kanye in the studio making beats, and I was like, wow, you could do that. And I went and found FL and learned, and I grew up. My family was big on like 106 in Park and the BET Awards, so I got to see it. Though I couldn't see it around me, I got to see it through the screen. You feel me? And that changed everything for me. I just got to I got like a hip hop family, you know, like that. We was the party house, and all the slaps is on, and you get that opportunity to dance and grow your confidence in your character, and you get roasted, and like there's so much that you gotta endure that molds you and builds you into the character. Like the person I am today is through everything I had to endure.
Literally. Your mom is like such a vibe, and y'all kind of got like the same laugh. And then your dad, you've talked publicly like about kind of his like hustle and everything. I guess how pivotal have they been kind of in this journey?
Extremely. I am my mama and I am my father. And you could see it very clearly when we're on camera in certain sectors. Like my character and personality and laugh and ideology is like my mama. Like you can only get, there's just only certain people got it. And then just my direction and my hustle and my intelligence, the way I see the world is things that come from my pops. And then I was able to, as I got older, I started reading a lot more and was able to form and mold my own version of me that didn't have neither one of them a part of that growth. You feel me? So they played a pivotal role in just giving me the ingredients. Like you can give 10 different chefs the same ingredients and you're going to get a different meal. And I just took the ingredients I had, and this is what we made.
Wow, that's fire. That's fire. And lastly, if you could drop your biggest gem for the world, what would it be? Look straight at the camera.
He who is willing is who will.
Okay. I like that. All right. Well, I appreciate you. It's been an honor. This was fun. And thanks for, bringing us out to Vallejo. I can't wait to see the compounds.
Come on. Yeah, let's go tour.